Yum, yum!
Hi, Alex here. Let's have some fun with matrix nodes, shall we? Today we're going to talk about blur and how that's working. So let me put up this grid here, zoom right in. So we are at pixel level. We all know blur basically just mushes the colors together. How does it actually do that? If we look really close and look at the before and after, maybe let's do a line width of 1 pixel and look at the after. We can see that it grabs the pixels around it. So we have the blur set to 2 and it goes 2 pixels around it, grabs the color that's there and multiplies with the current pixel value. And that's exactly what the matrix node does. So if we go over here, I've created a 3x3 matrix with normalize on and set everything to 1. So what that will do is grab the center pixel and 1 pixel all around it, add all these pixels together, which is what it does when the normalize is off, which will give us this one. And then divide by 9 because we have 9 matrix fields, which is the normalize button. So we get this. If we compare that with the traditional blur, that's already pretty close. This is pretty much what you get when you set the blur to a box blur. Not quite, but similar. If we look on Wikipedia for the Gaussian function, we've pretty much all seen this type of curve. And in fact, that's exactly what blur looks like. So if we go over here, I've made a 200 pixel image which has a large white bar in the middle. If I blur that with a size of 15 and attach the slice tool to it, you can see exactly that type of curve we have over here. So if we want to replicate that with a matrix, we could go over here, create a 3x3 matrix, and do something similar to this, where we take 1 pixel to the left, to the right, to the top, and make these half as strong, and then go sideways or diagonal and make those about a quarter the strength. If you look at that and compare it with the traditional blur, that's already pretty close. The traditional blur has a wider range. So what we want is probably a bigger matrix. Now, on the Wikipedia page, it actually has the exact 7x7 matrix. You can just create a matrix and put those values in, which I've done here. That's the 7x7 matrix. And I pretty much just copy pasted those values. Now, if we look at that and set the width to 1 again, and compare that with the traditional blur, that's an exact match. And if we go with the 3x3 matrix again, basically it's just the normal matrix, just the center field. And let's switch that to 1 again and compare these. So the center is pretty much the same, obviously, but we are missing this wider reach of the 7x7 matrix. And that's pretty much how the blur works. For larger blurs, what you would do, and that's this quality number, if you input blurs that are larger than 15, the image gets downscaled. So let's see, if we create the checkerboard over here, attach a blur to it, let's do a blur of 30, it looks like this. That's the same as a blur of 15 that is shrunken down by 2 before it goes into the blur, and then afterwards it's increased in size again by 2. So that and that should be identical. Yeah, the benefit is obviously that the blur renders much faster. Instead of creating ever and ever increasing matrices, You're just capping it at 15 and scale down and up before the blur without any perceived loss in quality. And that's it for today for the blur.
Yum, yum!